She said, "Boundaries like that are just fear disguised as principles. Don't be so rigid." It came out casually, almost playful, while we were folding laundry on a quiet Sunday afternoon. I paused with one of my shirts half folded in my hands and looked at her, waiting for the punchline that never arrived. She just kept matching socks, humming under her breath, as if she hadn't just suggested that wanting her to stop late-night texting with her work husband was some kind of character flaw. My girlfriend, Mia, had always been the spark. We met 3 years earlier at a rooftop concert in Brooklyn. Rain threatened all evening, but she danced anyway, barefoot on the wet concrete, laughing when lightning flashed. I was the guy holding 2 umbrellas and checking the weather app every 5 minutes. She called me her anchor that night, and I believed it. I'm 31, a project manager at a mid-sized architecture firm. Steady hours, decent paycheck, the kind of life that lets you plan vacations a year in advance. She's 29, a graphic designer who thrives on freelance gigs and last-minute deadlines. I loved the contrast. I thought we balanced each other. Early on, I covered her half of rent when a big client ghosted her for 3 months. I stayed up until dawn helping her rebuild her portfolio site when her laptop died right before a pitch. I learned her coffee order by heart: oat milk, 2 pumps vanilla extra hot, and brought it to her desk on mornings when she'd forgotten to eat. She thanked me with tight hugs and little notes tucked into my jacket pockets. I felt needed, and that felt like love. The shift was gradual, almost invisible at first. She started quoting podcasts about evolving past possessive love. She'd forward me articles titled things like "Why Jealousy is a You Problem" and ask what I thought, eyes wide, genuinely curious. When I admitted discomfort about her going for drinks alone with Julian, the married creative director who always commented fire emojis on her stories, she sighed like I'd failed a simple test. "He's just supportive," she said. "You're supportive too, but in a different way. Why can't I have both?" I tried to discuss it calmly. I didn't raise my voice. I used sentences that started with "I feel" instead of "you did." Every time, she flipped the script. I was stifling her growth, policing her friendships, clinging to outdated rules. The word "controlling" started appearing regularly. I began to doubt myself. Maybe I was insecure. Maybe wanting transparency was unreasonable. In 2025.1 Thursday evening, I came home early from site visits. She was on the balcony, phone pressed to her ear, laughing low and private. When she saw me through the glass, she lifted one finger, wait, and kept talking. I went inside, set down my bag, and started dinner. 20 minutes later, she slid the door shut behind her, cheeks flushed. "That was Julian," she said before I asked. "He's helping me brainstorm a new direction for my brand." I nodded, stirring the sauce. "Cool." Inside, something tightened. Later that night, while she showered, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. The preview lit up. "Can't stop thinking about tonight. You're dangerous." Heart emoji. From Julian. My chest caved in, but I didn't touch the phone. I sat on the edge of the bed until she came out, towel drying her hair. The message was still glowing when she picked it up. She glanced at me, then at the screen, then back at me. "You saw that?" she asked softly. "Yeah." My voice sounded far away. She sat beside me, not touching. "It's flirty, I know, but it doesn't mean anything. He's married, he's safe. It's just energy. You and I are real." I looked at her. "So I'm supposed to be okay with you getting that kind of energy from someone else?" She exhaled slowly. "I think you're supposed to trust me, and trust that I'm telling you the truth when I say nothing physical has happened." I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning over coffee, She launched into a gentle lecture about how modern relationships thrive on compersion, not jealousy, how emotional connections outside the couple can actually strengthen the primary bond if everyone communicates. She spoke like she'd rehearsed it. When I said I wasn't interested in that model, she looked sad for me. "I just don't want us to stay stuck," she said. "I love you, but I need space to be fully myself." I drank my coffee black and didn't argue. A switch flipped inside me that day. Not rage, not despair, just quiet clarity. I stopped asking questions, stopped checking her phone location, stopped waiting up. I went to work, hit the gym after, cooked for one, read books in bed with headphones on. She noticed, of course. At first she seemed relieved, like I'd finally relaxed. Then confused. Then irritated. 2 weeks later, I used my day off to execute the plan forming in my head. I rented a small one-bedroom in Jersey City, close enough for my commute, far enough to feel like a clean break. I scheduled movers for the following Monday and Tuesday, times I knew she'd be at client meetings. Over those 2 days, I packed every trace of myself. Clothes, books, the espresso machine I'd bought us, the framed photos I'd chosen, even the plants I'd kept alive. I left behind the couch we'd picked together, the art prints she loved, the fancy blender. Anything that felt jointly purchased stayed. On the kitchen island, I placed a single postcard. It read, "You have all the space you need now. Take care." I turned off my phone, drove to the new place, and spent the first night on an air mattress listening to traffic on the bridge. The silence was startling. No music drifting from her Bluetooth speaker. No sudden bursts of laughter at memes. No perfume lingering in the bathroom. Just the hum of the refrigerator and my own breathing. I expected grief to crash over me, but it didn't. I felt hollowed out, yes, but also strangely light. I gave myself small routines. Morning runs along the waterfront. Meal prepping on Sundays. Video calls with friends I'd neglected because Mia found them too corporate. I slept 9 hours some nights. My shoulders slowly dropped from my ears. She found ways to reach me, of course. First came the texts I saw when I finally turned my phone back on 3 days later. "Where are you?" Then, "This isn't funny." Then, "We need to talk." I didn't reply. An email arrived next, long, reflective, full of therapy language about attachment styles and fear of abandonment. I read it once and archived it. A week later, a mutual friend named Diego called. "Hey man, not trying to get in the middle, but she's kind of a mess. She didn't think you'd actually leave." I thanked him for the heads up and asked him not to pass along updates. He respected it. Still, word filtered back through the grapevine. Apparently Julian had pumped the brakes immediately. Something about not wanting drama with his wife. The other late-night contacts she'd been cultivating turned out to be equally uninterested in anything deeper than flirty banter. She'd gone from feeling desired and expansive to abruptly, undeniably alone. One Saturday morning, I was grabbing coffee near my new place when I saw her across the street. She was sitting outside a cafe, staring at her phone, shoulders rounded. She looked up, spotted me, and stood so fast her chair scraped loudly. I nodded politely and kept walking. She didn't follow. The direct confrontations came anyway. First, an unexpected knock at my office building lobby one afternoon. Security called up. "There's a woman here who says she's your girlfriend." I told them I wasn't expecting anyone and to please ask her to leave. When I left work that evening, she was gone. Then came the messages from her older brother, Mateo, someone I'd always liked. He asked if we could grab a beer, said she was struggling. I declined gently. A handwritten card appeared in my mailbox a few days later. No return address. It smelled faintly of the jasmine perfume she wore. She wrote about regretting her words, about realizing how much emotional labor I'd carried, about wanting to try therapy together. I read it on the train, folded it once, and dropped it in a platform trash can. The final encounter happened at a rooftop birthday party for a coworker we both knew. I almost skipped it, but my new colleague Priya convinced me to come, said fresh air and free drinks were mandatory. I brought Priya as my plus one, mostly because we'd been carpooling to site visits and got along easily. Nothing romantic yet, just comfortable company. The party was crowded, string lights, city views, laughter echoing off brick walls. I was mid-story. Something ridiculous about a client who insisted on gold-plated door handles when I felt someone watching. I turned, and there she was, near the bar, holding a drink she wasn't sipping. Her hair was shorter now, a sharp bob that made her look older. She wore the green dress I'd once told her was my favorite. Our eyes met. For a second her face softened, like she might smile. Then she saw Priya's hand resting lightly on my arm as she laughed, and something shuddered. She approached anyway. "Hi," she said, voice smaller than I remembered. "Hey." I kept it neutral. Priya excused herself to refill drinks, sensing the shift. We stood in awkward silence for a moment. "I didn't know you'd be here," she started. "Same." She glanced around, then back at me. "You look good. Settled." "Thanks. You too." She twisted the stem of her glass. "I've been doing a lot of thinking. I was unfair. I pushed ideas on you that you never signed up for, and when you set a boundary, I made you the villain." I waited. "I miss you," she said quietly. "Not just the convenience. You. The way you made everything feel safe." I nodded once. "I miss who I thought we were too, but that version required me to ignore my own needs. I can't do that anymore." Her eyes filled, but she blinked it back. "So there's no chance?" "No," she swallowed. "The girl you're with, she seems nice." "She is." A long breath left her. "I guess I got exactly what I asked for. Space." She tried a rueful smile. "Turns out it's colder than I expected." I didn't offer comfort. After a beat, she whispered, "Take care of yourself," and walked away. Disappearing into the crowd, I found Priya near the edge of the roof, skyline glittering behind her. She handed me a fresh drink without asking what happened. We stayed another hour, talking about everything and nothing. Later, on the train home, I realized I hadn't thought about Mia once during the ride. Life settled into a rhythm I hadn't known I was missing. Weekends became mine again. Hiking in the Palisades, trying new recipes without negotiating spice levels. Reading until sunrise if I felt like it. Work rewarded the extra focus. I earned a lead position on a high-profile renovation project. Priya and I kept seeing each other. No rush, no ultimatums, just steady presence and shared laughter. She asks how my day was and actually listens to the answer. Sometimes, late at night, I remember that postcard I left behind. "You have all the space you need now." Felt cold when I wrote it. Now it feels like the kindest thing I could have offered. Space for her to sit with the consequences she'd worked so hard to avoid that I don't check her socials. I don't ask mutual friends for updates. As far as I know, she's still searching for the version of freedom that doesn't come with loneliness attached. Me? I'm just here, building something solid, one quiet day at a time. The storm passed, the ground dried, and for the first time in years, I'm standing on it without looking over my shoulder.